So, the timing feels a little...
Yes, me. See, so context matters. Context matters,
a little convenient.
Ooh, wait. No.
Listen. Wait.
I hate you for that.
Let me fix it. Welcome back to Let Me Fix It, the podcast where I was about to curse Riverside out.
Ooh.
I was ready to curse Riverside.
She had a pitchfork.
I had a strongly worded email ready to go, but I take it all back, Riverside.
Class.
I'm Francesca Ramsey. I am an actress. I'm a TV writer. I'm a producer. I'm a graphic designer. I'm a social media consultant. My co-host,
and I'm DeLon Grant. I am an actor, a singer, a writer, a photographer, educator, and my girlfriend was having a heart attack, and I was having a heart attack too. But I was also like, you know what, class, let's fill you in. We use this software called Riverside, which is kind of amazing. It's like the Mercedes of podcasts. It's insane what it does, what it's able to do, the bells and whistles. But we recorded the other day on Tuesday, and then Fran texted me later that night, was like, your video is gone. It's completely gone. And
I was there talking to myself. I was just, and I was like listening and talking and no DeLon. And I was like, what happened? It was gone. So we planned on re-recording the episode, and I had just made peace with the fact, like, we're professionals. We'll make it work.
We'll get it. Yeah.
No big deal. I logged in, baby. DeLon's video magically reappeared. So Riverside, thank you. I'm not going to curse you out.
This is not sponsored.
This is not sponsored, but it should be.
Okay.
It should be. I was about to single-handedly take this platform down. So now I'm just going to clip in the rest of the episode. If you haven't already, class, please go watch the clip that I posted on Wednesday of DeLon's incredible game, Jukebox Betty.
Jukebox Betty.
It was so hard, but it was so fun. And I was genuinely so impressed with your design skills and your ingenuity.
Coming from you, that means so much. And class, listen, if you have games that you want us to play, please suggest, like if it's a culture thing, Fran and I can create a game. We love doing that kind of thing. So give us suggestions as well. We always want to hear from you,
Yeah. And because we are doing just this little tiny bumper at the top, I do want to ask you, DeLon, have you seen what your girl, Miss Nicki Minaj, has been up to this week?
Oh, licking Donald Trump's booty hole? Is that what you mean?
Well, it's worked out for her because she posted that she got her little Trump gold card, which makes her officially a citizen. That's what this is all. All of this tap dancing was for.
A bootleg ass Trump gold card is a thing that gives her citizenship?
Donald Trump has made these gold cards with his face on it that he is saying makes you automatically, it's basically you're paying for citizenship, which you've always had to spend money to become an American citizen, but this is his special fast track. I'm going to hand you this card.
Who the fuck does this man think he is? He thinks he's God. He thinks he's king of America. That is just crazy. That's not how this works. What?
It doesn't work that way. And it has just been wild watching her destroy her legacy in this way. Man. It's just been so gross.
It goes to show you, I always talk about capitalism. We talk about capitalism on this podcast. But it goes to show you, with rap in particular, and then somebody might push back because, there's a lot of different types of rap. But with rap in particular, it's so focused on money, class, what I got, what you don't, who I am, that when you achieve that, not only do you start to believe it, but you kind of in Nicki's case, she's kind of let go of the art. She's not creating anymore, right?
No.
And we're not consuming what she's creating, but it's just interesting and sad, to your point,
Yeah, I mean, I would say, yes, we see it very starkly in rap music when people are talking about, getting it out the mud and coming from the projects or, the challenges that they may have. And then you listen through the course of their music, and as they achieve fame and success, it might change. But that also happens with a lot of stand-up comedians where they're their comedy is about my wife and my job and blah, blah, blah. And then they're like, my private jet, you know what I mean?
I'm looking at you, Chris Rock.
Well, I'm looking Chris Rock, and another one is Kevin Hart. I tried to watch
Yeah.
Kevin Hart's new special, and look, whatever you think about him as a person, his early material, he was very funny, but he had like a hunger for
Mm.
entertainment, and his perspective was very like everyman. And watching his new stuff, he did a special during the pandemic where he shot it at his home, and it's like, and it looks like a theater, and you're like, okay, he's
Mm.
like, I'm in my home shooting this special because the pandemic is happening, and I need to create, and you're just like, bruh, get over yourself. And he's just not relatable anymore.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I just wanted to offer that, as it happens in music, but I think it happens in other art forms too.
I've mentioned him before, but Ricky Gervais, I think, does that really
Mm,
well. And that,
yeah.
like, I think Ricky Gervais does a really, to your point about Kevin Hart, take him take him or leave him,
Yeah.
right? You may not like
Yeah.
his work, but, and I think some of it is like, oh, okay, you went too far. And but
Yeah.
that's a little bit of his style, right? But
Hmm.
he really does takes a nugget, an idea, a topic, and really examines it from all angles or from a specific angle that makes you go, now you said some shit that was fucked up. Like I don't, but
Hmm.
I think that's the point. You're making me think. And so with his
Yeah.
come up, I think he does the same thing. But he's like,
Yeah.
no, I'm rich. I'm rich. I'm disgustingly rich. And I appreciate
Yes.
that because it makes me go, huh, okay, you know who you're talking to, right? You know that we aren't rich, you know?
Yeah, and I think you bring up a fair point with him. Like there's valid critiques of Ricky Gervais, but I think the difference is he's not trying to be relatable. He's not like,
Right.
I'm just like y'all. He's like, I used to be like y'all and now I'm not. You know?
It's funny. It's funny already because you're so right. He's like, no, we are not the same.
Yes, and I think to like broaden it, that's one of many of my like qualms with the Taylor Swift of it all, is she kind of does this
Mm.
like, I'm just like you guys. It's like, no, you're not. You're a billionaire. And like,
Right.
again, we can get into the ethics of that, but when you position yourself as like, I'm just a nerdy girl and I don't really know how to like do the choreography
That.
and I'm blah blah. It's like you have personal trainers and choreographers and a private jet and like multiple homes. Don't give me the aw shucks, okey doke. I'm
Right.
so awkward and just like you, like you're not, like
You know, that's a really great point because at some point you just have to, as a celebrity, when you become a millionaire, billionaire, or you have that platform, you just have to give it up and go, no,
mhm,
I'm different now. I'm different and I accept it.
yeah.
And it's okay. It happens to be okay that I'm a billionaire.
Yeah, and I can imagine that that's difficult. A smaller version of that is like influencers, the people that you see them getting ready with me and doing all these little relatable things, and then as their platform grows, they are in a big house and they're driving, expensive cars and all that other shit, and they're still trying to do the hokey doke I'm just like you thing.
Hmm.
And I think, there's nothing wrong with success and achieving certain things in your career, but I think especially when you are trying to relate to your audience, you owe it to yourself and to them to just be honest. Like you
Well,
can't
and
fake it.
that's a really great segue to the other part of the episode because Kanye was real honest. Kanye was real honest
Yes.
until we found out what. Well, You'll find out really shortly here,
Yeah.
class, what the catch
Real
was.
Look at Delon, you're such a pro. We will go ahead and throw it to the lost and now found episode of Let Me Fix It. Thanks for being patient with us, class, for this special Friday edition of the show. Did. And let's jump into some headlines. Is it okay if I go
Yeah,
first?
please do.
Delon, Kanye West issued an apology this week for his anti Semitic comments, and he linked them to a 2002 brain injury. Did you see this?
No.
So he took out a full page ad in the Wall Street Journal. And it's very long. I will link it in the description box, but I did want to highlight a few things where he says, now do you know the song Through the Wire, Through the
Yeah.
Limit? Okay, so that song is about this car accident that he was in where he almost died. And he alleges that that car accident led to a brain injury that triggered what is now bipolar disorder, and
Hmm.
that he was really losing his grip on the world. He says a few things like, once people label you as crazy, you feel as you can not contribute anything meaningful to the world. The scariest thing about the disorder is how persuasive it is when it tells you you don't need help. It makes you blind, but convinced you have insight. You feel powerful, certain, and unstoppable. I lost touch with reality. He goes on to say that his delusions made him reach for the swastika imagery. He sold t-shirts with that swastika on it. He had a song called Heil Hitler that he put
Wow.
out. And he says, it's not an excuse for what I did. I'm not a Nazi. I'm not an anti Semite. I love Jewish people. To the Black community, they are the foundation of who I am. I'm sorry I let you down. I'm not asking for sympathy or a free pass. I aspire to earn your forgiveness. So look, at first, what do you think hearing this apology, Delon?
I mean, God, this is the it feels a little too late,
Mm,
if I'm honest. But
mm,
like, I do have a lot of empathy for the idea that it was an illness, right?
yeah.
If that's true, which we have to take him at his word, he was really hurt, and now he's trying to do the recompense
Hmm.
for the hurt that he caused because of it. So we can't blame him for that. I
Hmm.
will say, like, he's done a lot of damage.
Yeah.
To not only to his reputation, but I think to like culture and to our culture. We've like
Yeah.
really removed him from the zeitgeist, as it were. And the other
Hmm.
part of it is like, I was waiting for him to say something. I mean, I didn't read the article, maybe I should read it. To black people, because remember when he said
He
slavery
does.
was a choice? He said,
He does.
he's okay,
He
let
did.
me read this.
He didn't specifically mention the slavery was a choice comment. He just says, to the Black community, which held me down through all the highs and lows of the darkest times. The Black community is unquestionably the foundation of who I am. I am so sorry I have let you down. I love us. So he
Okay.
he does mention us,
I mean,
but
and we're all capable of really egregious shit. We're all
hmm
capable of it, right?
hmm
So it does feel like a little too late, but I mean, this is he needs to call Will Smith, right? He's on. It's going to be a major redemption tour, because it's just not
yeah.
a full page ad and then that's it. Like, you have to do
Yeah.
a lot of it more.
Yeah, I mean, when I read it, I was like, wow, this is very thorough. And I think this is one of those instances where many things can be true, right? Like, I do believe he was struggling with mental illness. And also, he has a new album coming out on Friday. So, the timing feels a little
Miss me. See, so context
a
matters. Context
a
matters, class.
little convenient that you put it out on Monday and a new album is coming out on
Yeah,
Friday.
miss me. You lost me. You lost me.
So, and to your point about he's hurt a lot of people, I have that song. Instead of an empty apology, write a check.
Right.
It's not going to fix the problem, but there's no denying, especially since he was making money off that swastika shirt.
Talk about it.
And there was like a police officer who showed up to some city council meeting wearing the freaking swastika shirt and really antagonizing. I think it was a woman whose family member was killed by the police. Like, he was there with the swastika shirt on. I mean, it's just like, bruh, you have caused so much pain. There's a video floating around of like a bunch of these incels listening to that Heil Hitler song that he
Wow.
made. I mean, he has actively done things that have made a hostile environment for Jewish people, for Black people, for trans people, for his own children.
Wow.
For,
And that's to say nothing of like the divisive responsibility, well, the divisiveness he's caused, but the responsibility of a platform too, right?
hmm
It's
hmm
one thing to like be talking about your experience and have it be bitches and hoes and niggas and shit and like all
hmm
whatever you want to
hmm
talk about in your music. That's art, that's expression. And I do believe that as long as like it's reflective of your life and not causing harm to anybody. But
hmm
when you've done things culturally, when you've caused ruptures culturally, it can't be just an front page ad. To your
yeah,
point, it's got to be the ACLU, write $1 million. It's got to be,
yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean, a
It's
check or
it's
something
it
more significant.
it's the ACLU, I think, is great. I would also say putting some money towards, mental health
Talk
services.
about it.
That's why, because again, I do believe, I don't know if it was because of the brain injury, but I do believe that he has been struggling with mental illness. And I
For
say this as
sure.
someone that has lived with people and been friends with people that have struggled with bipolar disorder. There's a lot of similarities in this, this idea that they think that they're a god. Suddenly he was calling himself Jesus,
Right.
and he was building a church. Like, all of those things are in line with some of the symptoms that come along with bipolar disorder. It does not mean that his words or actions have not harmed people. Okay.
Right.
These actions don't happen in a vacuum, but also, if he's going to say, this is what happened to me, acknowledging I am in an extreme position of privilege because I
Yeah.
have the funds to get help and address this issue. And most people do not. You go in
Hmm.
the streets of Los Angeles and you will see tons of people sleeping on the street who have undiagnosed or untreated mental illness, and they have lost everything. And, I don't really fuck with the Kardashians like that, but I've seen too many clips of them arguing with him and trying to get him to take care of his mental health. He has
Hmm.
had tons of people in his corner trying to help him. And I hope that he is in a place where he is trying to get the help now, but it feels like he's trying to sell an album. And, that to me, that just feels
I
like,
mean, I mean, you buried the lead because that is the lead. The lead is
mhm,
the album's coming out on Friday, right? I don't
mhm,
believe
mhm.
it. I don't believe it. I mean,
Yeah.
listen, everybody has to salvage their career because I think what people forget, and I think I'm conflating things here, but we forget and they forget that they need us to buy things from them. Them being
Hello.
the elite and us
Yes.
being the people with who make minimum wage. Not really, but
Mhm.
I exaggerate. But like, you can't shit on us
Mm-mm.
and kick us and then still expect us to come back to the well and pay you money for your bullshit. Like, that's
Right.
just
Right.
crazy.
Especially amidst like the most challenging economic time
Girl.
in recent history. Like, I'm not about one, stopped fucking with you like that, but I'm not going to go spend my hard earned money to put money in your pocket after all the things that you have said
No.
and done. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And it's just, again, he almost got me for a second because I read it and I said, this
Well,
isn't that bad.
I mean, you really were on board. I was suspect when you started speaking, if I'm honest, because you say his name and I go,
I was no, listen, to be clear, when I saw the headline, I was like, "Ugh, this motherfucker." And then I went and I read it and I said, "Oh, this isn't that, it's very long." I really
mm-hmm.
only pulled out a few key moments, but on paper he did the things he's supposed to do, where he like acknowledged what he did. Like, he wasn't vague. He was like, "I said
Yeah,
anti-Semitic things. I did the swastika. I said Heil Hitler. I did these things." And like, that's usually what we ask for in a real apology. Now,
right,
he didn't talk about how he's going to fix it, again, either by writing a check or by working with some organization or whatever. He didn't do that. And he did kind of gloss over the stuff. He didn't talk about platforming Donald Trump,
right.
which, has been a long time coming that he was doing that stuff. But at first I was like, this isn't that bad. And then I like scrolled down and somebody was like, oh, he got an album coming out on Friday. And then I Googled, I was like, oh my God, he does have an album coming out on
See, that's
Friday.
also really fucking stupid. Why didn't you do that 2 months ago? Make the apology 2 months ago, because all we're gonna do is go, wait, nah,
Mm.
wait a minute. I mean, listen, people are gonna listen to it, no
Oh,
doubt.
yeah.
But like, he's lost a lot of fans, I would assume. I mean,
Yeah.
me, but
He
but
has a
also
lot of
like,
fans still.
sure,
He got them
sure.
incels. They love him.
Listen, he is a great fucking talent. He's always
He
has
is
been.
he is super talented, and that is why it's such a shame that we lost him so soon.
I
You
know.
know what I mean? Like,
May he rest. May he
yes,
rest.
yeah, a life cut short. Like, honestly, like, it is very sad. And we talked about, mentioned him last week when we were talking about Nicki Minaj, another one that I think is doing drugs
Yeah.
and possibly has some undiagnosed mental illness. But again, multiple things can be true. You are responsible for taking care of that shit. And I
Right.
believe I watched a little bit of the documentary about him on Netflix. It was really interesting. He has known that this has been an issue for him. I believe that the accident might have jostled some stuff, but he has known that he needs to be on medication for a while now. He's
Mm.
known. So you either, take responsibility for what you've done, which he's tried to do here, but then also the realization that a lot of people, it's not enough.
Yeah, I mean, and that's part of accountability too, right? You can
Mm-hmm.
apologize, and people don't have to accept the apology, right?
Mm-hmm.
People don't have to accept you back in their lives, but like, do it for you or do it
Yeah.
for the sake of doing it. Like, hopefully that helps. I hope the album's great, sir. I hope it's
I
great.
mean, I will never hear it,
I
but
mean,
love that for you.
that's the subtext.
Okay, what's your headline?
Yeah, I'm gonna bring us down to
Ugh, I know.
I
We have
know
to.
we just
Yeah.
have to. I'm
Yeah.
class. We would be remiss if we did not talk about ICE killing another Minnesotan, another American, Alex Pretti. If you have not heard about it, I'm
Mm.
sure you have because it's all over the internet. I just want to bring it up because a multitude of things, right? I hate to say thoughts and prayers. I don't mean to laugh, but thoughts and prayers is what they always say when somebody dies. But I really want to extend like deep breaths and a lot of love to his community and his family and Minnesota in
Mhm.
particular because
Yeah.
of what's happening. I am a Minnesotan, grew up 3 hours north of Minneapolis. My sister still lives in St. Paul. So like it's for real,
It's
for real. Like
close. Yeah.
and what's really nuts is like just remember when they told us like they were, and I know we knew that they were lying, but remember
Mm.
when they told us they were going to get all the drug dealers, all the rapists, and it turns out they're just kidnapping 5-year-old kids and killing mothers and killing emergency nurses. Like
I mean,
it's
and the reality is the drug dealers are white. The
well,
drug like
well
like again, this idea that criminality is linked to one race of people is ridiculous,
yeah.
and it's never been. Again, our fucking president is a
Talk
rapist.
about it.
It has the Epstein files. It has never been about protecting women and children. It has never been about that. It has always been about blaming somebody
Yeah.
for our nation's problems.
Well, and not only the nation's problems, but like a scapegoat. They
A
need an
scapegoat,
enemy.
yes,
Like how
perfect.
this works is we need an enemy. I mean,
Hmm.
the comparison is 1930s and Nazi Germany. Yes, they needed
Hmm.
an enemy. The Jews
Hmm.
became an enemy for them, right? They're
Hmm.
using the
Hmm.
immigrants, but now they're just slowly taking all of us. I mean, it was black people.
Yeah.
It was black people for
Well,
a very long
and
time, you
and
know?
look, you bring up Nazi Germany, and as a lot of people have mentioned, Hitler studied the Jim Crow South.
That's where they learned how
Watch
to do it.
watch the movie cast, read the book, and not only did they learn, they looked at how this nation was treating black people and Native Americans. And can you believe Hitler and them were like, I think y'all
That's a
went a little
little
too
too
y'all went a
far.
little too far with some of this.
Clear class. If you haven't read Cast by Isabella Wilkerson, it is so worth your time. She's a
I
brilliant
mean,
writer. But literally, Hitler sent one of his generals to Arkansas to learn how they were doing it and brought it
yes.
back to Germany.
Yes, and so, it is so frustrating. This idea, Delon, you bring up of a scapegoat is so real because what is now happening, and we talked about this last week, is that white people who are brave enough to say, I'm not with the shits, they are trying to make an example of them.
Yes.
They
Yes.
are going, you stay out of the way, or all of y'all are going to get the smoke. They did the exact same thing in the civil rights movement.
Mhm.
They did the same thing to abolitionists. This idea of like, we don't want y'all working together. Alex Pretti had the nerve to stand up and say, don't push this woman.
Right.
We've all seen the videotape. And that's what's crazy is they are literally going, you didn't see that. That's not what you saw at all. They're saying that he pulled a gun on them. He did
Because
absolutely did not.
he had a gun on him, but he's a licensed gun owner, which is legal in
Right.
Minnesota, and
Right.
it was in his back,
Mm-hmm.
and he had a phone in his hand. There was
Mm-hmm.
no him pulling, and we could to your point, friend. We
You
see
can
the
see it.
video.
You can see it.
So
But even still, Delon, the whole he had a gun, he had a gun. The Second Amendment gun nuts love to talk about how you're not going to take my guns. Come in here and take it. But then the minute someone legally has a gun, they're like, well, he had a gun.
well, he had a gun,
Okay,
so we
so
had to kill him.
are we supposed where is the good guy with a gun? And
Kyle
then
Rittenhouse. Kyle Rittenhouse.
hello.
Lest we
So
forget, he was the good guy with the gun.
you can show up with an automatic fucking weapon and point it at people, and they will make you a fucking star and
Right.
give you a podcast and have you all out here selling merch and shit. But this man had the nerve to stand up and say, hey, don't push this woman. They pushed that woman on the ground.
Unbelievable.
And these are, the men will protect you. From who? From y'all?
Right. Right.
from
And there were
y'all.
like, I don't remember how many of them were on there on him,
Oh,
but
like
like
6 or
there were like
7.
at least 6 dudes on him with tactical gear
Mhm.
and weapons. And you're like,
Yes.
if you can't handle one person, if you can't de-escalate the situation,
No.
you have no business doing this job. And I just want to reiterate what we said before, right? This is about the president and his administration having their own police force. That's what
Mhm.
this is about. This has nothing to do with immigration. This has
No.
nothing, it's terrorizing us. You know what I
No.
mean? It's just,
No.
I just want to make that resolutely clear. Again,
No.
everything, like my heart goes to Minnesota and Minneapolis and to all of us. Like, I know I was talking to a friend over the weekend. Oh, this is really hard. I just have to turn it off. That's a privilege,
No.
man. That's a
Oh, yeah.
privilege to be able to turn it
Yeah.
off. You know, we
Well,
can't
and
turn away. We can't turn this shit off because pretty soon it's going to be you and your kids.
yeah. Well, and we talked about this last week, but it's worth repeating. Unfortunately, this has been happening to Black and Brown people
Yeah.
since the beginning of time. We mentioned Keith Porter, which happened here in California right on New Year's Eve. And it is so unfortunate that whether it be Renee Good or now Alex Pretti, there is a certain demographic that didn't care until it looked like them.
Right.
And it's so difficult. I saw a post about this on Instagram the other night that was like, now is not the time to gloat.
Oh,
Don't
girl.
rub it, don't rub it in their faces. And it's always a white person saying that. And it's like, look,
Right.
if you want to kumbaya and hold somebody's hand, go for it. But like y'all, it didn't sink in when it was Tamir Rice. It didn't sink in when it was Trayvon Martin. It didn't sink in when it was Eric Garner.
Hmm.
It didn't sink in when it was Philando Castile. We have so many names,
Right.
and for people to suddenly be like, I can't believe this is the America. uh, this is the America it's always been.
Well, it's always been, and this is really hard for people to, I think, to understand. But I think
Mm,
when you consume whiteness and white supremacy, and from the other, right, in
hmm
many ways, like it's a lot easier to see that white privilege is invisible, but
hmm
you understand what it is. It's that Jane, who is that anti-racist white woman who had the audience of
oh, yeah, I forget what her last name is.
but she had,
Jane something.
you've seen this video class. She had an audience of all white college students, young adults, and she said, "Raise your hand if you would trade places with a black person." I'm bastardizing what she said.
hmm
Nobody raised their hand. So just
hmm
that's just an example of like, you know what it
you know
is.
you
You
know
know what it is, and proximity to whiteness or white supremacy means you get a privilege, and people don't want to admit that. But
hmm
now, when you dare to your point, friend, dare to step out and dare to say, "Hey, it's not okay that we kill people who are
hmm
just exercising their First Amendment right to protest, right, of free speech," and then you get killed. Oh, now it's like your privilege. You stepped away from the privilege. You are
hmm
not working within the bounds of what we have of the invisible law.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and the other thing that I want to say here is, on the one hand, as frustrating as it is that there are people who are just waking up now, I'm glad you're here, but that's also not enough. I'm not going to give you a cookie because you acknowledged the facts, right?
right,
I've seen so many people being like, my MAGA husband finally said that he thought the shooting was unjust. Okay, what next? Who is he
right,
voting for? Where is his money going? Where is his time going? Is he going to go? And also, like, my MAGA husband. So you have let him be a racist and a sexist and
right.
cover up for this fucking, rapist in chief in the White House this whole time. But now that it's a white person, you're like, oh, I'm so glad. But it's also not enough. I need
Yeah,
action. I need
yeah.
action beyond saying this is wrong. You don't get a cookie for just acknowledging the bare minimum. Now you have to add some action there, which, again, the fucking midterms, I know we keep
Oh
talking
God,
about it,
oh
but like,
God.
you need to have some actionable things in place to say, we calling your fucking representatives,
Yeah,
clocking that person in your workplace or around the dinner table when they say some shit, like not being in community with them. They need to feel real fucking consequences.
Well, and it's easy for us because we're Americans. I think we probably talked about this on we come with
Mm.
a lot of privilege.
Oh,
We're not used to being uncomfortable, and I don't say that that's a gross generalization. There are some people, like Fran said, who are homeless, who are
yeah.
unhoused,
Yeah.
who have mental health issues. There are a lot of issues in this country. I don't mean to minimize that,
Right.
but on the whole, it's
Mhm.
really easy for us to go, oh, but that's gonna mess up my
Mhm.
but I can't because you said this earlier when we're talking about the economic boycott. There's some people who can't not go to work because
Yeah.
their health care is contingent on them
Mhm.
working and everything. So I
Mhm.
understand that, but it's also, it hasn't gotten bad enough, which is really fucked up, and it will get
Mhm.
worse. It will get worse. It hasn't gotten bad enough for us to go, okay, we need to stop, and we need to stop it, and we also don't
Yeah.
have representatives that are doing anything substantive. I really, and it's
It's
crazy how quickly this is becoming. I'm becoming disillusioned by
Oh,
them,
yeah. Oh,
but
yeah.
there's this like, they're in opposition to what's happening, but they
Mm.
also benefit from it because they're able to stay in power in some
Yeah.
ways. So
Yeah.
they're just kind of like, well, email. Well, let's go to the podium. Let's send a tweet, which
Well,
is
let me say this because we talked about this general strike conversation, and I want to say a big thank you to my friend Gabe Dunn, who sent a message to me about this. I will link it in the description box. There is a general strike that is being organized for like a year from now, which I think is very fucking
oh
smart. And it is going to be called when they have collected 11 million signatures. That's how many people they need to pledge that they are willing to strike. And
wow,
they are doing a lot of things that I think are very smart, mainly saying that you should look at who is a local union where you live, and that those are the captains who are going to help organize the strike where it is that you live. So it's not like, hey guys, striking tomorrow. It's sign up, get involved in a local organization, and when they get the call from the people that are organizing the general strike is when we will go on strike. And
that's
that
brilliant.
the work that is going to be done now is working on collecting canned goods, putting aside money for healthcare. I mean, it is a massive undertaking, which is what I said last time. And also that I think unions are the way. And this site is all about starting a local chapter and getting people off of the internet to start planning
Hmm.
and thinking about a day in the future, not next week, not next month, and also talking about this being something that will have to be shut down for months at a time,
Yeah,
and really talking about the logistics of carpooling and growing your own vegetables and
man.
checking in on your neighbors and knowing how to shop small businesses and not going to the big box stores and not using Amazon. Like the way that it was framed in the video that my friend Gabe sent me, which I really appreciated, it was, this is going to be hard.
Yeah.
This will not be easy. It's not going to be a day. It's not going to be a week. This is something we are really going to have to plan for.
Wow.
And that I support.
I
A
mean, I
year
just
from
like,
now is far away, but shit, if we really worked on it, it could happen.
yeah, I mean, my deep breath is you're right. Your friend Gabe is that's brilliant. That's actually a way
Hmm.
to plan, but it just continues to be crazy to me that we've reached this point. And
Yeah.
again, I know that it's going to get worse because every day it's something new,
Yeah.
and it's just nuts to me that we're here. And again, that's part of our privilege, right? Like, we haven't had to deal with this. Our forefathers dealt with it in terms of the civil rights movement in particular. Our forefathers
Hmm.
dealt with this so that we didn't have to, but here we are. Um,
Well, and the point about the discomfort of it all, I think is the underlying message about, how spoiled we are. Look, when 9/11 happened, it was a tragedy. I will never forget that day, but am reminded that 9/11 happens in other people's countries every fucking day. Every day. I
please,
have a
please see
a
Gaza.
friend who is from Bosnia who told me about friends going to the grocery store and never coming back because the grocery store got bombed. Like, those are not things that the average American connects to, like, lived
Right,
experiences. And so, not to say that I ever want that in this country, but like, the stakes for a lot of these people are not that high.
right.
Now they're like, oh my God, I saw somebody that said on Delana on Threads. I said, "Can we go back to the old police brutality?" I said, "Oh, when it was just the niggas, when it was just us."
See,
What?
that's white privilege in and of itself. That's
Can we go back to the
to the
old
old.
version so I can stop caring about this? And so
Wow.
because people are so comfortable in their privilege, again, this is not new.
Right.
So many undocumented people and American citizens that just happen to be Latino have died in ICE custody since 2003,
Here's what's
before
happening.
this fucking administration.
But also, like, and again, like, I know it's of the moment, but like, like, listen to what we're saying. And I know you hear us,
Mm,
class, but listen to what we're saying. It's happening progressively. It's been happening for years to other people, to Francesca's point, but it's
mm-hmm,
happening to more and more of us. And if we do not do something, it is going to, we're already in a fascist state. We're
mm-hmm,
already in a fascist state because we're
mm-hmm.
allowing this to happen. My friend said to me, she was like, they told American citizens to start carrying your passport around, and she's like, I've been doing that for a month. Before, she carries hers, and she's Asian American. She carries hers and her son's passport. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's the world we live in now.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah, I
Anyway,
will put the info for the general strike in the description box. And look, I think that your overall point, Delon, I agree with. We have to start figuring out what we're going to do
yeah.
to combat this because it's not going to get better. It's
Mm-mm.
just going to get worse unless we step up. And I'm trying to take heart in the fact that I am seeing a lot of people that normally the post is, I usually don't talk about politics, but now, and I'm like, all right, I'm
Better
not
late
gonna
than
be
ever.
I'm not gonna be snarky in the comments. I'm gonna
Because
give
you have
you
a
a like.
podcast for that. So
But there's a number they call the girl on Instagram called them the Katies from your high school.
oh,
The Katies from your high school that never talk about politics. Now
the
they're all like, I have
Katie's.
as a mom, I have to say
The
something.
Katies and the Anies. Wait, do you know the Karen of it all? The
Mm,
Karen was our like
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
name to apply
Yeah,
to the woman
yeah.
calling me manager. Is it like Jessica? It's Jessica for Gen Z. I heard.
Oh, okay.
Which kind
Yeah.
of just the way it sounds. I'm sorry if your name's Jessica class, but
Mm-hmm.
Jessica just sounds like, oh, Jessica. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
can lean into it.
Yeah. I mean, it does conjure a very specific type of person. And
Yeah.
look, I know that it's been hard for the Karens, for the people who just are named Karen. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like if your
Right.
name is Karen, I know they're like, oh,
I know.
thank
I
God.
know some good Karens. Come
I
on.
know I'm well, and you know what? And it used to be the Beckys. The Beckys are like, well,
Ah!
now take that load from us.
Becky started calling herself Rebecca again. Okay, she said, "You better leave my name out your mouth,
Oh,
Beyonce."
oh
Okay,
my
wait,
God.
what's your headline? We're in this episode, girl.
Okay, so we are now moving into the fix class. If you're new here, this is where we each pitch a topic from the world or from our personal lives that we would like to fix. And I'm keeping with my theme of last week, where I'm bringing something that is attempting to be fixed. And I just
Mm.
want to say big ups to our friend of the pod, AOC, because she has joined an effort for a bipartisan act called the Defiance Act, which is a bill aimed at combating AI generated deepfake pornography. We talked about this last week.
Ooh.
There's actually a Republican senator from Florida, Laurel Lee, who is also co sponsoring the bill. They were
Look at
joined
Congress trying to
on
pass some laws, trying to do
is she
something
from
for a fucking
Florida?
change.
I'm taking that as a win. I'm taking that as a win. They were joined on the steps of Capitol Hill with Paris Hilton, who,
Oh,
I got to be honest, not my favorite person, but Paris Hilton has been very vocal about how that sex tape that she did not consent to being released was very damaging to her. She's kind of one of the first people on
mm-hmm.
a very public scale to like be bullied in that way. And some of the things that were talked about in this press conference is that 1 in 8 teenagers knows a friend that has been targeted by AI deepfake harassment. And we saw
Wow.
this happening on Twitter, now X, where people were asking this AI chatbot to take off the clothes of young children and women. And there is no like law against this. And it's really difficult to get this stuff taken down. And AOC very bravely shared, like, she is a victim of or a survivor of sexual assault, and that this is really important. And Paris Hilton kind of talked about there were no words for this. We weren't calling this deep. We weren't using like these terms that we're using now, like
Right.
revenge porn, for
Right.
example. There are 100,000 deep fake like porn images of Paris Hilton on the internet,
Wow.
and it is ridiculous that we are at this place. We talked about this last episode, a number of episodes. I really do believe that Republicans specifically are okay with this, because when those Epstein files are fully released, they're going to say, oh no, that's AI. And they are even doing it with the Alex Pretti video, where people are going, oh no, 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 that's AI generated. That's not real.
They would be the ones to know, because they're always posting AI
They're
generated
they're
content.
always
The
posting it.
lawmaker who was arrested at that church in
Mm-hmm.
Minneapolis, they did a deep fake
Oh,
of her
with the
face,
girl
which says
of
she
her
was
face
crying, and
crying.
she was not crying in that video. And what they
Mm-hmm.
think they can do is just put like somewhere in there that it was AI generated. No, that should be unlawful. To your point,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
The other
Mm-hmm.
thing I want to say about God, like, God, the porn of it all, like that
Yeah.
is like, it's also happening on Grinder, right? There are a
Mm-hmm.
lot
I
of
bet.
accounts that are I participate, that are fake.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of exchanging of nudes on Grinder. And so like I
Mm-hmm.
feel like it's also going to start, people are going to start blackmailing people with like
Yes.
image. So like it gets
Yes.
really, really deep potentially, and very,
Yes.
very scary. And
Well,
so
and
this is go AOC. Brilliant,
go
brilliant.
go AOC, and again, go, what is her name?
Lee, you said?
Laurel Lee. And and I'm going to say, go Paris Hilton. It's not easy to talk about the ways in which you've been violated. I'm sure it's opened her up to more harassment and more people sharing these images. But to your point, sorry to keep saying to your point.
Listen, we're
I
changing the
know.
podcast name to Your
So
Point.
I saw a comment that said that, and I was like, oh my God, drag us. But the reality is, people are doing this because they are abusers, and it needs to be understood as abuse, because
Yeah.
there are consensual nude images and videos all over the internet. Free
Twitter,
99. You can go
get in
any
there.
corner of the internet and find free naked videos and sexual content, but that's not what they want.
Right.
They want to steal it. They want something that you don't want to be out there.
Consent. They
They
don't
want
want consent.
they want you to feel discomfort. They want you to
Yeah.
feel uncomfortable. They want you to
Power.
be they want
That's
you
a
to be
power
embarrassed. They
imbalance.
want power. Exactly. And it's the same thing as when somebody sexually assaults someone. You see this all the time. Why would they rape someone? Because they don't want it consensually. They want to
Yeah.
take from somebody because they're a fucking sadist.
Mm.
And it is so frustrating that we have watched AI proliferate in this way, knowing from day one where it was going. From day
Yeah.
one, we knew we don't need something to take someone's clothes off. Why was that ever an ability? Ever?
Well, and I mean, I don't know why y'all are spending that much time on the internet looking for something to, like, I am there for just like mindless content, or like for the
Well, you
news or
have a
whatever.
life,
Well, I
Delon.
have a very big life,
You
but
have a life.
but that's a better question. Who is the type of person that is looking for this? It's kind
An
of an
incel.
incel.
An
It's kind of
in
somebody who's lonely, who like who feels
yes.
small, who needs to do
Yes.
something to exact power on somebody else.
It's a very unhappy, hateful man. Let's be
Most
real.
definitely, most
These are
definitely.
men and young boys doing this shit, and they've been radicalized by the internet. And I really think we've talked about this like loneliness epidemic a number of times here on the pod, but there unfortunately is a growing generation of men that feel so angry that women don't want them, because women are outperforming them in education, in their careers, in their friendships. They're going to therapy, and the bar for a heterosexual relationship has gotten so high, as it should, that a lot of these men are really like having temper tantrums. And so when you say no, they're like, you fucking bitch. Look, I'll use AI. Take your clothes off.
Well,
Like,
this is not to give them that enough credit, but just dig deep down in the psyche of like why
mm-hmm,
that happens, right?
mm-hmm,
With masculinity, all the things, but there's a guarantee
mm-hmm,
the expectations of life aren't being met, meaning like
mm-hmm,
they thought that they were supposed to have a woman by now, or they can
mm-hmm,
have any woman that they want. Why doesn't
mm-hmm,
she want me? Because she's not interested in you. Why is she
mm-hmm.
not interested in me? There's a guarantee. I don't know where it comes from. I guess it's just the misogyny,
It's
the
masculine.
masculinity of the culture.
It's the patriarchy. The
Yeah,
patriarchy has, and this is what, when we talk about how the patriarchy hurts everyone, the
yeah,
patriarchy has told
it
men
hurts
that they
men the
have to,
most.
it hurts them the most. It tells them you have to act a certain way and you will get a woman. And if you don't act that way and then you don't get a woman, you are not allowed to show vulnerability. You're not allowed to be
You're
sad.
not a
And
man.
you're not a man. And then this is why when we have somebody go shoot up a school,
Ugh.
or we have somebody kill, their partner, or call a sex worker and kill them, right? It's because they are dealing with like all of this shame and regrets and insecurity, and they've never processed it, and anger is the only way they know how to process it,
It's
so
the
they
only way
lash out.
it's the only way they've been taught to process it. That's the
Yes.
only way they've been taught to
Yes.
process it, because some of us just like to eat. Okay. Some of
Yeah.
us have chosen other
Yeah.
vices. Okay.
Yeah. Eat your
Shit.
feelings.
Eat your feelings. Get a pill. Shit. Get a therapist.
Yeah.
This is a kind of a little bit of a segue to my fix, which is fairly quick here. Just to kind of sing with the emotional side of things in the psyche, adjacent to like what we're experiencing in the world right now, class.
Hmm.
I know a lot of people feel helpless. I was, like I said, I was talking to a friend over the weekend, and it was just like, well, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And I don't have the answer about what you do. We've talked about this on the pod. You can
Yeah.
donate your time, your money, continue to talk about it, continue to have community. One of the things that happened for me over the weekend, disclaimer, I get accused of being morbid a lot, but what can you do to
Mm.
help yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Michelle Obama was on, I think, Jimmy Kimmel recently, and she said, I'm 61 years old. The life expectancy of a Black woman in the United States is this. Let's say it's 81 years. She's
Right.
like, I can't do the math, but she's like, I only have that many summers left. And I was like,
Mm.
fuck. I did my math, and for the average man, African American man, I can live to be between 73 and 78. So that means
Mm-hmm.
I have 36 summers left, according to Michelle Obama's.
Yeah.
That has thrust me into the moment. Now, yes, please vote. Yes, please give your money. Please keep screaming from the from the rafters, the rooftops, that
Mm.
we are in trouble. But also think about you, right? What's going to make you experience life to the fullest in the moment,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Is it water? Listen, I grew up on a lake in Minnesota. I love the horizon. I'm not getting in that shit, but I'm gonna be at the pool staring
Mm-hmm.
at it. But
Mm-hmm.
like, it's thrust me into the moment, right? Every day I have shit to do. I sit down at this desk and I click clack away, and then I keep going like, what am I working for? 36 summers. What am I working for? For them or
Yeah.
for me? I need to take it
Yes.
back. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go take a nap. The shit'll be right
Mm-hmm.
here when I get back. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yeah.
know how I show up, and I know my work ethic. I know who I am. And so I'm really trying to be thrust into the moment of like 36 summers, 36
Yeah.
summers. What am I
Yeah.
doing with them? Again, it's morbid,
Yeah.
class, but it's just an offering of like, what do I do? What can I do? The anxiety spins out. Take a breath and think about what matters to you.
Yeah, because there is this idea that, like, look, when death comes for us all,
Right.
and you want to look back and say, like, you know what? I lived my life to the fullest. And that sometimes means, like, yeah, taking a fucking break. I'm not going to answer this email. I'm going to eat this slice of pie. I'm going to, like, I'm going to live. I'm going to live. And especially whether you think about it in the quantity of summers or just the realities of, like, no day is fucking promised to you.
Right.
Alex Pretti did not think that he was leaving his house and that was going to be his last fucking day on earth. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
And so I don't wish that on anybody, whether it be Keith Porter's family or Renee Good's family or Trayvon Martin's family or, Breonna Taylor. I don't wish that on anybody. But the reality is, you don't know what is ahead of you.
Right.
And that is why you should be good to yourself. You should be good to the people that you care about. You should treat yourself You should say
Yeah.
that you love people, Delon. I tell Delon every goddamn day out of
I know.
nowhere. I love you.
Same. I
I love
love you
you. And if
too.
you ever think that you want to have sex with a woman,
Francesca, the moment our
it's
faces
never
would get
happening.
close, we would go,
It's
"Huh?
never.
What do you? No. I'd be like, come here, let me hold you.
It
I'll
would
hold you up tight.
come here. No, it would never happen. It would never happen. But like, you are my soulmate. You are
Yes.
my soulmate. And I never, ever, ever, ever want a day to go by that you have a shadow of a doubt that that's how I feel. And
Yeah.
that's how I am with my parents, with my writing partner, with my little neighbor who's like my little buddy, with the lady who cleans the building. How are you? How you doing? Let's share a
Yeah.
moment. I'm gonna be sweet to you. I got you a gift that I saw. Like, for me, that's how I quantify my X amount of summers, is
Yeah.
every single day. The morbid part of it, I have been thinking about it, is what will people say when you are gone? And
Yeah.
I know there'll be a number of y'all. I never like that bitch.
That
never
bitch.
like, I never like that
Let me go
bitch.
stomp on this hoe's grave.
And
Okay.
I will say, you know what? I earned it. But I will have just as many, if not more, people saying, "Oh my God, she helped me with my YouTube channel. And one
Girl.
time I asked her about divorce and she sent me a DM back and she said, 'Listen, let me tell you what I did.'" Because that's who I am.
Yeah. And that's a part of it, is knowing who you are, and you do need that reflected back. Class. I
Hmm.
teach at a university. I went to one of my student shows. I love all my students, but I have a real connection with this student, and her parents came up to me, and they were like, "We just want to thank you so much." Actually, can't. I made it. I'm trying to not say her name, but she has talked so much about you, and like it was
Mm.
so meaningful, and just that reflection. I was like, I feel the same way about this
Yeah.
student, but like, man, what an impact I get to make,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Not only
Yeah.
on one student, but on many students. And
Hmm.
that is part of like, that matters. I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna show these kids what matters in terms of theater and acting, and why art is significant. and
Hmm.
and I get to do that right here, right now, as I get to my summer where I hope I'm shaking my ass on the beach somewhere. Okay.
And I hope I'm right there shaking ass with you, Delon.
Okay.
I know it's cold in Boston, so
Well, I'm gonna make my way out. I'm gonna make
yes.
my way right on out.
All
All
right.
right.
Well, now it's time for comments from the class. We love hearing from you. I've got two I want to highlight. One from JFox779W6, who gave us $20 during our live post last week. I've been doing the episodes live at noon. Class, fill up that chat if you are watching right now. It's been so fun. Delon, I set it so that there's like a countdown, and basically we all get to watch the episode in real time and like leave comments. It's so fun.
Oh my gosh,
And
I
this
wish I could do
person,
this. I'm teaching during yeah, but
it's totally fine. This person said, this J Fox said, "Thank you both for amazing commentary. The way you both make me feel like we're all cousins. Watching each episode with a huge smile and lots of laughter. Not sure if y'all are into manifesting, but I want you both to start saying soon to be sponsored by. Much love." And they sent us $20, which again, you don't have to send us any money, class, but like
mm-mm.
I felt like we had to highlight the people who've been
Yes.
kind enough to do that. And then the other comment I wanted to highlight is from Dominique IBCLC. This was on the episode where we were talking about Don Lemon and Nicki Minaj and Republicans. And we were talking about how the Republicans have been pushing this idea that they possibly want to penalize you for not having kids and getting rid of abortion access. And Dominique says it's no accident that KKK Caroline, Stephen Miller's wife, and Usha Vance are all magically pregnant at the same time. Did you know about this, Delon?
I did not.
They are
Wow.
pushing. Usha is 40 years old, and not to say you can't have a kid at 40,
Right.
but it is interesting that she is having a baby now at a time where it is so difficult for women who don't have health care and whose husbands aren't rich. And especially if you are a woman of color or a Black woman, it is so dangerous for you to have a baby. And
Mm-hmm.
Miss Mama, Usha, I just want to say, a baby ain't gonna make him stay. A baby is not gonna make JD Vance stay. Okay.
Listen, I also want to clap back or add rather that
Mm-hmm.
the cynical part of me can't help but go, oh, when the administration is dealing with this much pushback, especially with KK Caroline,
Mm-hmm.
who's going to be pregnant at the podium clapping back at people.
You
Okay.
can't be
It just
mean to me. I'm
right.
pregnant. And you
No,
know
we
what?
will. We will.
I'm gonna clock your tea, Caroline, because I saw those lip filler scars in the Vanity Fair article. That meant you were getting Botox while you were pregnant.
Oh, you can't do
So
that.
you cannot get your not look, your body, your choice, do whatever you want to do. But for the
Right.
pro-life party, we care so much about babies. She said, give me 12 cc's right here. Meanwhile, she had
Wow.
a bun in the oven. And then Katie Miller is also pregnant. I will link to a great video I saw from Instagram from Ileana Justine, who really kind of clocked the propaganda here that these three women are, 40 against, not that old, but it is a geriatric pregnancy. And then a 28-year-old and a 34-year-old. These women are going to make pregnancy look so easy and fun. And oh my God, this is amazing when they have childcare,
Resources.
when they have health care. And while they are simultaneously trying to take those things away from you,
Yes.
they said, you don't get health care, you fucking broke bitch. You should go. You don't get maternity leave. You pop out that baby, we want you to go right back to work. We're not going to give your kid free pre-K or kindergarten. We don't
You know
even
what?
want them to have access to shit.
Move your ass to New York City because Zoran
Ooh,
Mamdani's giving motherfuckers free health
that's
care,
my mayor.
free restrooms out in the city. Okay, shit.
He
Makes
said,
you want
I
to
have
move
been
back
in
to New
office
York.
for 5 seconds. And guess what I'm going to do? My job.
Guys, he's 5 minutes he's been there. He said, check, 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 check.
And
what is our government doing?
What does that tell you? That they could do the shit. They could do it if they wanted to.
Oh yeah. It's the Democrats. It's like they're opposed to it, but they're also in agreement with it. Why? Because corporate sponsors want it that way, and lobbyists run Washington D.C. So no, they have no interest in making things better for us. No, they have interest in staying office and making money. So.
Ooh. Oh my God. So those are my comments. I'm going to pass it off to you, Delon.
Okay. Because I was working so hard on the game, I forgot comments at the class. So you had two. So great. Let's switch. Let's go over to the glow up class. You know what the glow up is, where we give props to those who have fixed themselves without our help. Today, I give it up to Miss Jill Scott. Did you know that Jill Scott's coming out with a new album called To Whom This May Concern?
I saw a clip of her on that Colors song, and my favorite comment was, Jill Scott makes big areola music. And
she said, touch me all over, squeeze my meat, everything on me, God.
Also, I just want to say, I met Jill Scott because she was on First Wives Club with my good friend Michelle. And Michelle, I was Michelle's date to the BET Awards one year, and I met Jill Scott. And I don't fangirl. I've met a lot of famous people, okay? When I tell you I was a puddle, I love her music so much.
It's so good. It's so unapologetic. So class, this new single that Fran is talking about is called Don't Play. If you're a fan of the Colors thing, I think it's a YouTube based thing. Anyway, it's this really beautiful thing that they give to artists. It's kind of the answer to Tiny Desk, I think, with NPR, you know?
Yes.
So it's just like the artist and a mic and some beautiful, like really deep color. I think Jill's in some deep red, but I just sang one of the lyrics that I've listened to so many times playing over my head. But there's another one that I was like, yo, this woman is sick. First of all, she's talking about, one of the lyrics is like, don't hump me like a jackhammer, I'm not a sidewalk. I said, girl, she's getting it. Another one was, please me like my grandmama's yams with the pineapples on top. Candy pecans, come on.
Just an auntie. Okay. An auntie.
And unapologetic and so black. Like it reminds me, like, remember when neo soul was like something they stamped on our music, on this type of music, when it didn't need to be stamped because it's just music, it's just R&B, it's just black music, but they have to qualify it. She just brought all that back to me. So that is one. Go ahead, Jill. I can't wait for the album. Class, get into it. Listen to this tune. It is banging. Can I add one more?
Sure.
Okay, great. So we have a glow up. We used to have a stay up, right? Kelly Clarkson was
Mm-hmm.
somebody we said was a stay up. Kelly's always
Yes.
on at her show, her
Mm-hmm.
singing. I want to do a what's up, meaning like,
Okay.
where is this person? Where
Okay.
the fuck is Jim Carrey? Where's Jim
Oh,
Carrey been at?
he was going through some
Was
stuff.
he really?
Yeah, like he was dating Jenny McCarthy, and
That
Jenny
was a
McCarthy
while
is
ago, though, right?
yeah, but like then he dated some woman who like took her life, and
Oh shit.
there was some back and forth with her family, I think, and then I don't know. He seemed to be having a really difficult time. He did a movie that was like a biopic, and the movie was weird, and then he did like a making of about the movie, and it was just he seemed stressed. I don't know.
She's like to encapsulate it. Life was stressing him out. I just say that because I
Yeah.
just turned on my TV, my smart TV, and it happens to be on like the Movie Hub channel for Samsung,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Soon to be sponsored by Samsung. Ready?
Oh, okay.
Um, and the Cable Guy was on, which is a crazy fucking film.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I had recently watched The Mask as well,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like,
Incredible
Jim
film.
Carrey he's just such a good actor. Like,
Yeah.
it's so specific, it's so clear, it's so funny, it's so dramatic, all in one.
He's a
He
he's
goes,
he's a great dramatic
he
actor.
is.
Wait, what's the one where he is like inside of like a simulation, and like
Oh,
everybody is
oh my god,
um I can't remember what that one is
that
called.
was
The
also
Truman
brilliant.
Show.
The
The
Truman
Truman
Show,
Show.
also brilliant. Brilliant
Yeah.
acting. I
Yeah.
just like was watching him as an actor, watching another actor, and I was like, God, he's brilliant. I just don't.
Mm-hmm.
Where's his Oscar? Why is he not working? I would love to see
Yeah.
more of his work because his canon is just so great. The last three things
Bangers.
I've watched, I'm like, fuck, he was
Bangers.
so good.
There's not that many comedic actors who have like that kind of a strong
That
track
range,
record.
yeah.
Like that range and that track record. Yeah, I don't know. Again, it's been a minute. Class, tell us in the comments if you know what's going on with Jim Carrey. Please, I hope he hasn't done something like
Oh, please
bad.
God, no.
I
Please
really
God,
hope he
no.
hasn't. But yeah, really talented guy. But you know what? There's also a world where he's just sitting on his millions. He's like,
I can't wait.
Really?
Jim, I can't wait. I can't wait to be sitting on my money.
He's just like, I don't really want to make any more movies.
I don't have to do anything else but just sit here and enjoy the rest of my life. 36 summers,
Yeah.
class. 36 summers.
And I feel like Jim Carrey has one of those faces where like as a white man, you grow a beard, nobody knows who the fuck you are. You can go to the grocery store.
He's so gangly. You put on a skull
Nobody
cap.
put on some sunglasses and a beard. No one knows who Jim Carrey is. He's fine. He's probably hanging out at the local bar,
Well, I
just
hope
chilling
so.
like a normie.
I hope so. Anyway,
Oh
those
my
are my
God.
two. What is your glow up?
Okay, my glow up goes to Jackie Harry, who got a deep plane facelift at 69 years old, and it looks amazing.
She said Christian or who?
But like, look, what I really love about it is like she looks like herself. Like it doesn't look like she's not snatched to a place of like she's unrecognizable.
Right.
She looks so good.
She looks like she used to.
She looks like she just took a really restful nap. You know what I mean? Like she's not trying to look 30 years old.
Right.
She looks so good. And I saw this really funny video where she was talking about it, and it just made me think more movies and TV shows with Jackie.
Yeah.
You know, she's so funny. She's so iconic with the voice.
Mary.
And like, you know, and I also just am really here for Black women, especially of a mature age, getting their flowers before they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
She is a real comedic powerhouse.
Yes.
And I hope that she got this little facelift so that she's ready for her close up. You know what I mean?
Yes.
She's like, I'm ready to be back in business. She's doing press and talking about it. Where's the agent? We need to get Miss Mama booked.
You know, I'm gonna call Ryan Coogler really quick because we're friends. And go, can we hire Jackie? Because like that is one woman who needs up to be back on screen. For
I
real.
would love to see her in like an action flick. She could be like a mob boss. You know what I mean? Big
Mm.
mama behind a table smoking a cigar. Like
Big
she run
mama.
she runs like a beauty salon, but like when you go in the back, she's got
Ooh.
like guns and stuff. Give
Okay.
her some range.
Okay. You know what's crazy? They recycle through actors like crazy. You're saying that, and I thought of there was Niecy Nash was starred in was it called Nails? It was
Claws.
Claws. It reminded me of
Mm-hmm.
like that. It's like some kind
Mm-hmm.
of salon where there's stuff happening
Yeah.
in the back. But then I was like, God, they just replace people, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
Niecy Nash is a Jack A type because she's funny and
Mm-hmm.
right. So like or put them both in something.
Put them in. Well, and that's the thing that Hollywood doesn't like. They're like, we can only do one at a time. It's an
Crazy.
ensemble cast, and then there's one woman of color, a Black woman, an Asian woman, a Latina woman, whatever. They really struggle when there's more than one of us in the space. And I love the idea of Niecy Nash and Jack A together. I would watch that. Take my money.
Yes, hands down.
Class, tell us who you think that Jack A should be paired with in her next TV show, movie. Tell us about what you want to see, or maybe
I want her
go ahead.
on what's Quinta's show?
Oh, Abbott Elementary.
I want her to play what's her name?
Ava's
Sister.
mom. Oh, whose sister?
Oh my gosh, Cheryl Lee Ralph's sister.
Oh, Cheryl Lee Ralph. I could definitely see them being related.
That'd be funny. Anyway,
that would be very funny. I would watch Quinta. If you're Quinta, you're probably watching.
Quinta B.
So let us know in the comments if there is a movie, a television show, a book that you would like us to fix. And don't forget, you can also send us a tagline to letmefixitpod@gmail.com, and we might use yours on the show.
And don't forget, every Wednesday we have new episodes at 12. You can watch it live with everybody else. Hit that notification bell if you want to get notifications when we do drop episodes. And or if you are new to the pod, please subscribe. You're here every Wednesday with like little interstitials so every now and again. And follow us on Instagram, like Fran said.
Yes, I'm Francesca.
I'm Delon, and this was
Let Me Fix It.
Day by day, ooh.
I only want to make things right.